Hello, everyone. We start now. Hello, we have a webinar regarding the importance of cybersecurity in the digital age for executive IT professional, job seekers, and so on. This webinar will be provided by Dr. Abdelrazak Bashir Bijra. We will discuss during this webinar about, I will start about me, a small description about CyberTTP company. We will have an introduction. We'll see the challenge. What is the challenge behind what is the motivation? What is the problem and what we need to do exactly? And we finish by a conclusion. This is the agenda of this webinar. I hope that you will take benefit from it. I will try to share the maximum of information. This is only the first part. We'll do the second part in few days, inshallah, in 2 or 3 days. This is only the first part of this webinar. About me, it's Dr. Abdelrazak Bashir Bijra, Chief Technical Officer of CyberTTP in Qatar, engineer, magister, and PhD in computer science. I have more than 20 international certifications, including certified network defense architect, certified ethical hacker, certified information system auditor, certified information system manager, certified information security officer, CMP, CDP, and other certifications. I have more than 60 years of field experience, previously head of Algerian Cyber Defense Center, Algeria Telecom, and vice chairman of Study Group 17 related to cybersecurity in International Telecommunication Union in Geneva, Switzerland. This is about me. Regarding the company, CyberTTP company, it's a Qatari company headquartered here in Doha. It provides cybersecurity audits, penetration testing, advisory support and assistance, training programs, certification programs, and we provide also cyber events and lots of various activities related to cybersecurity domain. In the introduction, we'll speak about the cyber world. The cyber world, often known as digital world, has become an integral part of our personal life, as it strongly contributed to development of work patterns, of healthcare, for example, education, communication, and even entertainment. It also revolutionized the world of commerce and marketing. So our life became closely linked to cyber technologies. If we can see here in this slide that cyber technologies or digital technologies are related to our life in our smartphones. We have social networks in our laptops, servers, the CCTVs, smart TVs, and everything. We are all the time related to these technologies, which is considered as digital technologies or digital world or cyber world or cyber technologies. When we speak about cybersecurity, what is the challenge behind? The challenge is when we are related deeply to these technologies, this is what prompted the cyber criminals to redouble their efforts in order to perform cyber crimes and target the maximum number of people and institutions. Why or how? It's by identifying and exploiting the security weaknesses and vulnerabilities in their systems, and also by taking benefit from their lack of awareness about the risks, about dangers, about cyber threats, and also about the basics of cyber security behaviors and best practices. This is the challenge, and this is the big problem we have. We are strongly and deeply related to technologies. We have these cyber technologies everywhere in both professional and personal lives, and the cyber criminal can reach our personal data, our photo, our videos, our confidential information, our personal information, and they can get benefits from this information, and they can take benefit from our weaknesses, from the vulnerabilities or weaknesses of our systems, and they can do many things. Why? What is the motivation? In the Verizon's 2022 data breach investigation report, they found that more than 86% of the data breaches they analyzed were financially motivated. The motivation is related to money. They need financial benefits. They need something that can lead to get direct or indirect benefits. Okay, this is the main advantage or the main benefit or the main motivation of cyber criminals. We have some other benefits, but more than 86% is related to financial motivations and financial benefits. As numbers, the problem is related. If we see, for example, cybersecurity event reports, we see that global cybercrime cost will grow yearly by 15%, reaching $10.5 trillion by 2025, which is a huge number and which is very dangerous. If we speak about Palo Alto Network report regarding this, regarding security and regarding flaws, cyber security vulnerabilities and so on, they found that 80% or more than 80% of exploits were made public 23 days before their CVE were published. CVE here we speak about common vulnerability and exposure. We speak about known vulnerability or published vulnerabilities. The exploit is the part of code or the part of program that allow us or that allow cybersecurity researcher or that allow cyber criminals, for example, to take benefit from these weaknesses and these vulnerabilities in order to perform remote code execution, to perform privilege escalation, to perform denial of service, or anything depending on the type of the vulnerability. The problem is more than 80% of exploits were made public. We get the exploit of some vulnerabilities 23 days before the publication or before publishing the CVE and before patching the vulnerabilities, which is also very dangerous. In IBM reports, when they speak about the cost of data breach reports of 2023 regarding the last year, 2022, due to unpatched vulnerabilities, the average cost of data breach was $4.35 million in 2022, which is a huge number, a huge amount of money, which is related only to unpatched vulnerabilities. People have vulnerabilities. We have software vulnerabilities in our systems, in our servers, in our platform and infrastructures. And the problem is we are not patching these well-known vulnerabilities without speaking about unknown vulnerabilities or new vulnerabilities or zero-day vulnerabilities. We are speaking only about well-known vulnerabilities, published vulnerabilities with available patches and updates in order to avoid these vulnerabilities. These numbers make the situation dangerous, and we can get the information that the situation is not good at all. The second part of the problem, if we speak about vulnerabilities, we need to understand that we have several types of vulnerabilities. We have, for example, information disclosure vulnerabilities. We have user enumeration vulnerabilities. We have vulnerabilities that allow us to do security feature bypass. We have vulnerabilities that allow the hacker to do remote code execution. We have some privilege escalation vulnerabilities. We have denial of service vulnerabilities, and so on and so on. We have lots of types of vulnerabilities. This vulnerability is a weakness in our software, in our application, or in our system. And if someone identifies this vulnerability and take benefits of this vulnerability using a program or part of a code that's called exploit, he can take benefit from this vulnerability and he can execute a code remotely, or he can bypass some security features, or he can do a privilege escalation, or he can perform denial of service. It depends on the identified vulnerability. Now, what we need to understand that if we have vulnerabilities, it depends on this vulnerability. We have what we call a CVE ID or CVE number. We need to know this vulnerability. After publishing this vulnerability, it gets the CVE ID, CVE, which is a common vulnerability and exposure. After that, we have the year, 2023, 2022, 2021, or something like that. It depends on the year of publishing this vulnerability, and numbering, which is related to sequence number of this vulnerability. Each CVE or each vulnerability has a score related to what we call CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. And this score is 0 when it's known. It has not been rated at all. It's a new vulnerability, for example. If the score is between 0.1 and 3.9, it means the risk is low. We have a low risk of this vulnerability. If the risk is medium, we speak about CVSS score of 4.0 and 6.9. If we have a score between 7.0 and 8.9, we are speaking about high risk vulnerability. And if we have a CVSS score between 9.0 and 10.0, we are speaking about critical vulnerability. This rating, this CVSS score, it depends on many aspects, from the risk of the vulnerability, what we can do if we take benefits of this vulnerability, and also from the ease of exploiting this vulnerability. If it's very easy to exploit this vulnerability, we will get a high score. If it's highly complex and difficult to exploit this vulnerability, we will get low score. If the vulnerability allow us to do limited information disclosure, we will have low risk, for example. But if we are speaking about remote code execution vulnerability or security feature bypass vulnerability, we will speak surely about high risk or critical risk vulnerability. It depends on many aspects. The main two aspects that are related to the CVSS score of each vulnerability are the impact of exploiting this vulnerability and the ease of exploiting this vulnerability. We need to understand those aspects in order to be able to continue the remaining parts of this webinar. The third point, we are not speaking only about well-known vulnerabilities, but we have what we call zero-day attacks. Zero-day attacks, we are speaking about vulnerability, discovered vulnerability that has discovered by attackers before the vendor has become aware of it and not yet patched. We are speaking about new vulnerability, about zero-day vulnerability, about unknown vulnerability that has been discovered before the vendor has identified first, and there is no patch for this vulnerability. Here we speak about zero-day vulnerability. And when we speak about a code, a part of program that allow us to exploit or to take benefit from this vulnerability, we are speaking about zero-day exploit. And if we execute or we use this zero-day exploit in order to take benefit from a zero-day vulnerability, we are speaking about performing zero-day attack. Okay, it's zero-day attack. It's related to zero-day vulnerability that has been exploited using zero-day exploit. What does it mean, zero-day? It means this vulnerability, these flaws, this weakness is unknown, and the vendor has not yet not yet published the patch. And this vulnerability has not yet been published, and it's not considered as a well-known vulnerability. When we speak about these vulnerabilities, we need to understand that if we scan our systems, if we scan our asset, IT asset, servers, laptops, smartphone, with any vulnerability scanner, we cannot identify those vulnerabilities because they are not included into our databases or vulnerability databases, and they are still considered as unknown vulnerabilities. Also, we are speaking about ransomware or about some type of malware, the risk behind, because we are speaking about the risk and the need of cybersecurity, the importance of cybersecurity. We need to understand the risk. I repeat quickly, the risk resides on that our life is directly related to cyber world. We are using cyber world technologies in all our life. We have some smart TV, we have CCTV camera that are reachable from outside, maybe that are using public IP address. We have smartphone, we have Facebook, we have social networks, we have Windows, we have Linux, we have Mac OS, we have some operating systems, we have applications on those systems, we have servers, we have web servers. Our life is related directly to these technologies. We do some marketing, some sales operation in social media network, and we use strongly these social networks, and our life become related to these technologies. What allow hackers or cyber criminals to redouble their effort to exploit, to take benefit from the weaknesses and the vulnerability of this technology. What is these vulnerabilities? What we mean by vulnerability or weaknesses? Vulnerability is a weakness, software weakness that can be exploited, and we can get some effort. Why? The motivation is money for more than 86%. And we saw some numbers and some part of well-known report. What is vulnerability? I tried here to explain that we have a lot of various type of vulnerabilities. We have some dangers for vulnerabilities like remote code execution that allow the hacker to execute a code remotely. We have some security feature bypass vulnerabilities that allow the hacker to bypass any security feature. If you need to example here, I can give you the simplest example is authentication, for example. The authentication process is considered as a security feature. If we enable authentication for something, for application, for accessing to something, we can have our system can have a security feature bypass. With this security feature bypass, we can avoid or we can bypass the authentication process. If we successfully bypass the authentication process, this is just a simple example to make this point clear. If we bypass the authentication process, it means that someone can get inside without authentication, without username and without password, or without getting the right username and password, and he can get inside. What he have do he only take benefit from security feature bypass in your system or in your software. Okay, now we don't speak only about these vulnerabilities. The risk is very high. Before speaking about advanced risks, we need to know that maybe most of our systems, our laptops, our smartphone has many vulnerabilities, and most of people, even most of IT specialists and sometimes cybersecurity specialists, don't do the necessary actions and don't have the right behavior and the best practices to do related to this field. And maybe they don't scan periodically and frequently their systems. Maybe they have vulnerability for 2-3 days and they aren't aware about this vulnerability, and we have a big problem regarding well-known vulnerability. Now we move to another aspect. We move to the zero-day attacks, zero-day vulnerabilities, zero-day exploits, which is unknown, which is that we don't have enough information about it. The vendor is not aware about the presence of this zero-day vulnerability, of zero-day exploit. Maybe this zero-day vulnerability remain for weeks or months or maybe years, and the vendor is still not aware about this vulnerability. It means that there are some persons who identified this vulnerability and who have the appropriate exploit, which is a set of or a part of program or a code that allow them to take benefit from this vulnerability And when they exploit a vulnerability, they will be able to do remote code execution. For example, if the vulnerability is the remote code execution, they can perform security feature bypass, they can perform privilege escalation, they can do many things. They can do denial of service, and so on. In addition, we speak about malware in general, about malicious software, which is malware. Only one category or one family or one type of the malware, malicious software, we have ransomware. Ransomware, which is software that use encryption, in order to disable the target access to its data until a ransom is paid. Okay, the idea is to encrypt data to make data unreadable and usable, and to ask the target to pay ransom. When he pays the ransom, maybe he gets the decryption, maybe he will not get the decryption. That may mean holding systems or files hostage until ransom is paid, stealing personal data to carry out identity thefts directly, or selling information on the dark web for others to use, for example. Okay, the victim here, when we speak about ransomware, the victim, organization, or person, it depends on if he is a person or organization, is rendered partially or totally unable to operate until it pays. But there is no guarantee that payments will result in the necessary decryption key, or that the decryption key provided will function properly. Okay, it depends on the ransomware. It depends on the many aspects. Okay. In addition to ransomware, which is an aspect that most of people know, and they have some experience with ransomware, we can speak about another item or another threat that have a huge risk, which is fileless malware, fileless attack, fileless everything which is fileless. And here we are speaking about fileless malware, which is a software that use native, legitimate tools built into a system to execute a cyber attack. And unlike traditional malware, fileless malware does not require an attacker to install any code on a target system, making it hard to detect, or sometimes impossible or very hard to detect. Because the operating system recognized edited file as legitimate, these attacks are stealthy. They are up to 10 times more successful than traditional malware attack. It's stealthy. We can get attacked using fileless malware and without having any symptom, any information, anything about this attack. Okay, what means that the situation is not good at all if we are speaking about widely used technologies, if we are speaking about our personal and professional life that are related deeply and directly to cyber technologies. Here another aspect of problem is related to human resources. According to KnowBe4 report on cybersecurity awareness from a range of different industries, they found that more than 50% of employees don't think that they can infect their device with malware by clicking on suspicious links. Even worse, 25 or more than 25% of all employees believe that suspicious links pose little to no threat at all. It's not a problem for them. Important number of employees are unaware completely of the basic cybersecurity practices and behaviors. This is a report on study which has been performed on a huge number of companies and of organizations from different industries and sectors, and they get these numbers. 50% of employees don't think that they can be infected only by clicking on suspicious links. Over 25% they think that there is no problem at all when they click on suspicious links if they receive something from unknown persons, for example. And a huge number of employees within this study shows that many users and a huge number of users are unaware completely from the basic cybersecurity practice and behavior, which leads us to conclude this conclusion. The weakest link in the security chain is the human element, which is written by Kevin Mitnick. The weakest link in reality in cybersecurity chain is the human element, because all our problems are related to human behaviors. Human is not aware, human do mistake, human sometimes don't follow the steps, the required actions, the best practices, the provided best practices, and so on. And in addition here, I need to draw your attention to one important point. When we speak about awareness and when we speak about basic cybersecurity best practices and behaviors, we are not focusing on non-IT professionals, but we are speaking in general about all employees. And I can provide you information that also IT professionals, sometimes network administrators, sometimes we speak about system administrators, sometimes we speak about web developer, for example, or we speak about all IT professionals. They are far from cybersecurity best practices and very far from cybersecurity behaviors and so on. And we speak in nowadays about awareness and the required awareness programs for IT professionals, for non-IT professionals, for executives, for managers, for kids, and so on. Because also IT professionals, and this is the big mistake and the very important point, also IT professionals need to improve their awareness in cybersecurity, and we need to evaluate them frequently, and we need to check their level regarding cybersecurity, and we need to help them to improve their awareness level regarding the cybersecurity threats, risks, attacks, and so on. I can give you some examples about system administrators that are not aware about for example, ransomware at all, which is not normal at all. Some network administrators that are not aware about what does remote code execution vulnerability means in his router or firewall or switches or Wi-Fi access point or anything. IT professional that is not aware about file list attack or about zero-day vulnerabilities or about distributed denial of service, for example. It's a big problem. IT professional which when he is not aware about phishing, about type of phishing, about details of phishing, it's not normal. It's not acceptable at all. We have this kind of IT professionals, and we can see a lot of them in our professional life. This is why we can repeat that the weakest link in cybersecurity or in the security chain is the human element is completely true, and we need to work within this part in order to improve our security. This is only the problem. But what we need to understand, what we need to do as executive, as manager, as IT professional, as non-IT professional, as person in my personal or professional life, what we need to do. What we need to do in reality, lot of things. I take 5 or 6 points here in this presentation, and we will discuss about these 5 or 6 points, and we will discuss after about other point in another webinar, inshallah, in 2 or 3 days. We will start by the most important aspects for maybe it will be interesting for managers, for executives, and we will move into technical fields in the next point, inshallah. The first thing we need to speak about cybersecurity governance. That emphasizes strategic planning that integrates with organizational operations and prevents the interruption of activities due to cyber attack. We need to avoid the interruption of activities due to cyber attack, because we can get denial of service, we can get a problem, we can get ransomware attack, we can get distributed denial of service attack, we can get a lot of things that interrupt the activities of our business, that can do interruption of activities to our services, to simple cyber attacks. It describes the cybersecurity governance, describes the cybersecurity policies, and we will speak about policies after in the next slide. And it oversees the cybersecurity teams. We can have more than one team of cybersecurity. It oversees the cybersecurity team, and it provides oversight to ensure that risks are adequately mitigated. And this is very important when we speak about risk, and if we are able to mitigate the most important risk or all risks. This is the first point. We need to do what we call cybersecurity governance, and we need to provide, and we need to do our effort and our best here in order to take benefit from this part. Second part, we need to have a clear view and clear cybersecurity strategy. Without strategy, we cannot work. We cannot work professionally without governance of cybersecurity and without cybersecurity strategy. Cybersecurity strategy is a high-level plan for how an organization will go about securing its assets during the next 3 to 5 years. Its aims, the objective or the aim is to maximize the resiliency and minimize cyber risks. We need to maximize the resiliency, and we need to maximize our cyber defense capabilities, and we need to be aware that we can get attacked at any time, and we need to ensure that the recovery is very fast and we can come back to the normal situation very fast with the minimum downtime, with the minimum loss, and so on. This is the first point. The second point related to cybersecurity strategy, it's related to the fact that it outlines a framework for organizing and prioritizing efforts within the organization. And we need to define here who is responsible for what. We need to get everything clear and everything written and clear. And we can see here that a lot of companies and a lot of organizations can have issues and can have problems here in this point. Maybe they don't have strategy at all. Maybe they don't have clear strategy. Maybe they have the strategy for only 1 year, for example, and it's not normal. And maybe the strategy don't target to maximize resiliency and minimize the cyber risk, which means that the cybersecurity strategy here need to be improved, to be reviewed, and to be optimized, and so on. Third point, I will not take a lot of time here in this point because most of participants are from IT and are engineers and so on. But I will try to take more time in technical aspects. Here, the third point and the last point regarding this aspect is cybersecurity policies. When we speak about policies, we need to understand that we need written documents that contain a set of standardized behavioral practices and technical procedures designed to maximize protection of a company asset. And we can speak here about, there are a lot of policy. We need to have a lot of policies. If we see the standards here that speak about policies, cybersecurity policies, but I give you only three simple examples here. The first example is related to workstation policy. And when we speak about workstation policy, we are speaking about how employees workstation should be secured, what we need to have, what we can speak here about firewall, about antivirus, about anti-malware, about update, about many things here, what we call workstation policies, and we need to have everything written, everything clear, and a complete policy regarding workstation. We need to have a policy regarding what we call acceptable use policy. acceptable use policy here, we need to clarify and to make clear and complete. Employees should be aware of the organization's requirements. For example, here we can speak about the usage of internet. It's allowed to do that. It's not allowed to do that. We can speak about Wi-Fi. We can speak about the usage of anything related to IT assets. It's, for example, we can speak about social media, social networks. We can speak about the usage of, for example, internet torrent is allowed. This application is not allowed at all. This Facebook, for example, or this social network is allowed only from this hour to this hour. We need to make everything clear, and we need to clarify and to make what we call acceptable use policy. Another example of cybersecurity policy is related to remote access policy, which is clear, and I think all people know this policy, which is related to remote access, how employees are allowed to remotely access corporate resources. We need to use VPN, we need to use this type of VPN, we need to use this tool, this encryption algorithm, we need to follow these steps, and we need to put and to write a document, to elaborate a clear document that contain everything related to remote access of our corporate for our corporate resources from outside. These aspects are clear, and maybe someone can say that it's clear we need to use VPN, and no, we are speaking about documents, we are speaking about documentation, we are speaking about elaborating these documents, publishing these documents for related users, and we need to make everything clear. Okay, this is related to cybersecurity policies. There are a lot of policies. We need to ensure the elaboration, development of our policies, and we need to adopt and adapt. We need to adopt and adapt the policies that maybe are used in other companies. We can adopt from standards, we can modify, we can adapt the policies regarding to our company, to our requirements, regarding to our needs, and so on. Okay, we need to clarify everything and to put everything in documents and to avoid working non-professionally. The fourth point, we need to speak about risk management, which is very important and which has the highest priority in most important organization. When we speak about risk management, we are speaking about cybersecurity risk management, which is an ongoing process of identifying, analyzing, evaluating, and addressing the organization's threats. It starts from identifying the risks. It goes to elaborating the what we call risk mapping. Until evaluating the impact of each risk. We need to evaluate also. 1 minute. We need first to identify the risks. After, we need to evaluate the impact of each risk. We need to evaluate the likelihood or the probability of occurrence of each risk. And we need to do this table or this risk mapping. We need to understand which risk has significant impact and, for example, it's likely, which has the highest probability of occurrence. It means we are here in medium to high risk. We are speaking about high risk. We are speaking here about high risk. Here we are speaking about low risk. If we are speaking about negligible impact, and, for example, very unlikely. This risk is very, very unlikely. We need to clarify this risk mapping, and we need to understand which risks are high risk and which risks are low. When we identify risks and we identify the impact and the likelihood of each risk, and we have in front of us this table of risks, we need to take actions and to prepare ourselves against each risk from the identified risks. We need to take a decision. We need to take an action. The action can be, for example, completely avoid the main cause of the problem. The action can be also reduce the risk. We can reduce the risk. And when we speak about reducing the risk, we speak about making, enabling the security, the maximum level of security. We need to put some barriers in order to secure or to reduce the risk. Avoid when we completely eliminate the main cause of the risk. If, for example, I give you a simple example, it's not correct or it's not so deep, but it's so easy to understand. If we say that, for example, Windows operating system is vulnerable against this and this attacks. Okay, I need to avoid. Avoid means do not use Windows at all. Android systems are vulnerable against this and this and these attacks or vulnerabilities or anything. If I think with avoid action, I will avoid completely the usage of this operating system or the usage of this application or anything. Avoid means do not use. Avoid means eliminate completely the cause of the main cause of the problem. Sometimes we can avoid, but sometimes we cannot avoid. Sometimes when we cannot avoid, we need to reduce. What is reduce? What we mean by reduce? We mean do your effort, do your best to secure. When you do your best to secure your technology, if we speak about protocol routing protocol, for example, if we speak about authentication, we advise you to do multi-factor authentication to enable this aspect, to enable this feature, to do to enable some features. When you secure and when you do your best to secure, we consider this effort as reduced, because always we know that regardless the security barriers we do, regardless our cybersecurity or cyber defense capabilities, and regardless what we do as efforts, our technology can be attacked, and we can get attacked using unknown vulnerabilities, unknown weaknesses, zero-day vulnerabilities, or other weaknesses. This is why we use the term reduce. When we secure and when we do our best in order to secure, we are speaking about reducing, because we always have probability of getting attacked using this technology. If we cannot reduce, sometimes we are speaking about a company that don't have a team, cybersecurity team, for example, or when the risk, in order to reduce the risk, we need to invest and we need to acquire technology and we need to do investment. We need to hire some people. We need to provide the high salaries, and we decide that we cannot reduce during the current period of time. If we cannot reduce for any reason, we have another solution to do a transfer of the risk. We can do a transfer of the risk, and we can see with a third party to be responsible, completely responsible on one or some risks. And here we speak about transferring the risk. And in this case, we will transfer the risk, completely the risk, to another company, to a third party, and this third party will be completely responsible on this risk. We will pay monthly basis or yearly basis, and we will not think about this risk completely, because this third party will be completely responsible. We will have SLA with this company, and we will think only about reducing the risk. If we cannot avoid and we cannot reduce and we cannot, in some case, maybe we cannot transfer because it's highly risky, or maybe it's require also high budget, or we cannot invest until the next year, for example, the beginning of 2024. We need to accept, there's no choice. If we cannot avoid, we cannot reduce, we cannot secure, what we call reduce, and we cannot transfer, we need to accept. We cannot speak about another action. And I cannot, as cybersecurity specialist or as cybersecurity manager, I cannot do anything because the solution cannot be implemented, because we don't have resources, because we don't have technology, we don't have people, we don't have processes. We cannot do our best by ourselves, and we cannot transfer the risk. The transfer has been rejected, for example, by top management or something like that. This is why we need to accept. Officially, we need to accept some risk. And if we accept some risk and we get attacked through these risks, we are not responsible as cybersecurity managers, because this risk has been accepted by top management, and we have the formal document or official email or something like that that prove that this risk has been accepted by the top management. After that, we need to move to, if we speak about reduce, we need to detail our strategy, detail our procedure, how to reduce, for example, how to avoid ransomware, how to avoid denial, or how to reduce distributed denial of service attacks, how to reduce route injection, how to reduce these attacks or these vulnerabilities. We need to put our security measures. We need to improve the security measures, and we need to evaluate the security measures, and we need to planify the recovery from this risk. Regardless our security measures, maybe we can get attacked, maybe someone succeed in getting access or doing or performing denial of service attack or distributed denial of service or anything. We need to prepare ourselves, and we need to have a plan, a recovery plan. If we get attacked through this attack, we need to have clear, correct, complete recovery plan in order to come back to normal situation with the minimum downtime and the minimum loss. This preparation, after doing all this effort and these steps, we need to to provide high importance and high priority to what we call periodic simulation of occurrence and awareness training. After all these steps, we need to do periodic simulation of occurrence. We simulate that we get attacked by ransomware, we get attacked by fileless malware, for example, we get attacked by distributed denial of service, someone gets access to our web server, someone gets access to our file server, someone gets full control or on some endpoint, for example, in the organization, in the company. We need to do simulation of occurrence, and we need to test both our recovery plan, if it's correct, if it's good, if it's and we need to evaluate also the effectiveness and the readiness of our risk actor or our team members. How to evaluate their readiness, how to improve their readiness, how to improve their knowledge and skills by periodic simulation of occurrence, and also by awareness training. And awareness training and awareness program are very important in order to improve the knowledge and skills and the awareness level, of the whole members, IT and non-IT professionals, executives, which are the most targeted persons, about all kind of users. And in order to the aim, the objective is to strengthen the weakest link in the security chain, which is the human element. This weakest link can be improved by professional work and mainly by awareness training. Okay, I hope that this point is clear. It's very important what we when we speak about risk management. I will open discussion after when I finish. I think it remains only 2 points. The fifth point, we speak about vulnerability management. When we speak about vulnerability management, we need to understand that vulnerability management represents a continuous process that evaluates if any of the asset system is susceptible to any known vulnerability. We speak here only about known vulnerability, because when we perform vulnerability scan, we perform using vulnerability scanner, and this vulnerability scanner will check the vulnerabilities against the database, the vulnerability database, and this vulnerability database contain published vulnerabilities, and we can assess our system, we can evaluate our system against these databases. We need to evaluate and to evaluate our system from known vulnerability, assign severity levels to identified vulnerability, recommend remediation actions or workaround sometimes if required about vulnerability, especially when we speak about vulnerability, even if it don't have solution, or if the patch take time, or if the patch need to be tested before, or if the implementation of the update or the patch regarding patch management is complex and it will take time. In this case, we need to implement quickly a workaround, the time to be comfortable, to be free, to test the patch, to do all required action regarding the patch, and to deploy the patch. We cannot wait. We cannot still with the vulnerability without any effort, and we take some hours or some days, because there are some cyber criminals and hackers that will take benefit from this situation. And if you remember about one information I provided in my previous slides regarding vulnerabilities, 80% of exploit is the program who allow us or enable us to take benefit from vulnerabilities, made public 23 days before the CVE were published. That means that if you take time to do the update, to do the patch, you need to understand that the exploit were published many days before. It means that maybe you can be compromised, and someone can take benefit from your vulnerabilities, and you can get a lot of cybersecurity problems. Okay, this is related to vulnerability management. We speak here about vulnerability assessment. We speak about many aspects, but we need just to draw your attention about the requirement, about the important need to do the vulnerability assessment, to do periodically vulnerability assessment, to ensure that we don't have well-known vulnerabilities. And I need also here to draw your attention that if we don't have known vulnerability, it doesn't mean that we are secure, but it's good, it's acceptable. It's better than if we have 300 of vulnerabilities. Sometimes when we scan some servers and some public servers or some endpoints, we find 100 of vulnerabilities, not 2, 3, 5. We found 100 of vulnerabilities, which is very far from cybersecurity requirements. But when we find 0 known vulnerability, it means it doesn't mean that we are secure. It doesn't mean that we cannot get attacked. It doesn't mean all these things, but it means that at least we have something good. We have some good information, and at least we can speak about the minimum acceptable level of security. Okay, the last point I think in this presentation today, because we already take more than 1 hour and a half, is related to security hardening and cyber compliance. We need, as IT manager and IT specialist, and as cybersecurity specialist, as someone who is related to technology, we need to ensure security hardening. Security hardening means that if we have some weaknesses in our system, if we have some weaknesses, some flaws, some vulnerabilities, we need to put barriers, and not only to put one barrier, but to put more than one barriers in order to make it hard and to harden our system and to make our system more resistant to attacks. This is the first part. This is the global idea and the global aspect. The first part in security hardening, we speak about cyber compliance. We need to take international standards, national framework, or international framework. We need to take a model, and we ensure our compliance against this framework or this cybersecurity benchmark. We speak here about cybersecurity compliance, which refers to ensuring the conformity regarding a reference model by following its guidelines and its best practices. And here we need to take benefit from the guidelines provided by cybersecurity experts and the guidelines and the best practices provided by cybersecurity agency, and the guidelines and best practices provided by if we have national cybersecurity agencies. Okay, here we need to take a model as a reference, and we need to ensure 100% of compliance against this model. And we speak here, we have some international standards, like when we speak about NIST, for example, PCI DSS regarding related to payment card industry. We speak about HIPAA for healthcare sector. We have Center for Internet Security, CIS. We can evaluate and we can ensure compliance against one or more than one of these standards, international standards, benchmark, and guidelines, and we can take benefit from these guidelines. This is the sixth point and the last point in this presentation. At the end, I take the benefit from this opportunity in meeting with you to thank you for your attendance, and we look forward to meet you again in the next webinars. The next one will be in 2 or 3 days. It depends on my availability. I will share with you the link in your emails, and I will open the registration for new users. I hope that you take benefit from this webinar to understand something, and I will open discussion to discuss with people. Thank you very much for your attendance, and thank you for your attendance in advance for your attendance in the next webinars, inshallah. Okay. You can ask questions if you have, either in the chat or sound. The sound is loud. You can enable your mic and you ask question if you have. If you have any question, you can ask. You can put the question in the chat. It's no problem.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Hello, sir. I am your student and the first year PhD student here in Algeria. My question is, what is ما موقع السايبر سيكيورتي in the age of AI؟ يعني واش راح تكون الامباكت والتاثير والانفلونس تاع الاي اي اون جينيرال على السايبر سيكيورتي؟
Okay, I will summarize the question in English in order to, because we have some participants cannot speak Arabic and do not understand Arabic. Mr. Mohammed asked about what is the relation, or when we speak about cybersecurity, how we can take benefits from AI. It will be good or not good. What is the relation between AI and cybersecurity? Here, then one of the next webinars will we will focus on AI and cybersecurity, not the second, but the third webinar, inshallah. But in general, I can tell you that AI is, we can take benefits from AI to do anything. In cybersecurity, it's good. It can help us in order to do many things in cybersecurity. When we speak about threat intelligence, when we speak about vulnerability assessment, when we speak about detection, when we speak about intrusion detection, when we speak about, we need AI, because without AI, when we speak about user behavior analytics, when we evaluate the behavior of the users, for example, we need AI here. We cannot evaluate the behavior of users without AI, or without AI we can do some limited actions or limited operations. But with AI we can do many things. We can do advanced aspect and advanced operation related to threat intelligence, threat hunting. We can take benefit from AI in detecting intrusion, in detecting some attacks. And in many aspects, it's very interesting when we combine AI with cybersecurity. It's very interesting if we know how to take benefit, and we will see in detail, inshallah, in the third webinar, a special presentation about AI and cybersecurity. AI means artificial intelligence, for persons who ask about AI. Okay. Next question. Yes, Hassan.
Can you hear me? Okay. Just a quick question regarding the risk assessment, risk management, actually. I believe you said that during your presentation that if something threat happened and your managers or no IT staff in your company happened that doesn't accept your risk management regarding the threat, and they might go ahead and they say, well, we're gonna do like pass that threat, and they go ahead without taking necessary action regarding the threat. So I want to ask regarding the security team. Do you think that they should stand firm regarding their beliefs that the threat can hurt a lot of infrastructure of the organization, and also uh, your client or customer, they may go ahead with the lawsuit, and that can hurt the company financially and also in their operations. So, is there any? So I summarize really quick. My question quickly is necessary the security team stand firm regarding their risk management about the threat?
Okay. Okay, here I need to clarify something. First of all, risk management, it's the whole process of managing risks from the identification, from the assessment, until the awareness, until the simulation of occurrence. All steps inside, it's included into risk management. Now, after identifying risk, we need to take action. The action can be one of four. We have four possible actions. The first one is avoid. When we can avoid, the best solution is to avoid. If we have a risk, we are speaking about a threat, and we have a risk behind, and we can avoid completely the technology or the application or the operating system, for example, we can avoid it completely. If it's possible, it's the best solution. Okay, this is the first possible action. When we speak about if we cannot avoid, the second possible solution is to reduce. You need to do your effort. You need to do your maximum effort in order to secure your assets from this risk. If we speak about man-in-the-middle attack, if we speak about web attack, if we speak about network attack, system attack, about anything, because we need to speak specifically about risk by risk, about each risk. If for a risk A or a risk X, we need to do our effort in order to secure this technology or this risk. If we can, it's the best solution. We need to do all our effort, and we need to enable all possible features, and we need to do security hardening and to enable a lot of barriers in order to ensure a high level of security for this aspect, for this technology, for example. But sometimes we cannot. I give you an example. You represent a company, you represent an organization, and we need to protect your network from distributed denial of service attack, from volumetric distributed denial of service attack. You cannot do anything inside your network because the solution cannot be inside your network. You cannot use anti-DDoS solution inside your network because volumetric DDoS attack will use 100% of your downlink, will use the bandwidth, the available bandwidth, and you will be unavailable. Even if you have anti-DDoS solution or you don't have an anti-DDoS solution, your network, your organization will be unavailable because 100% of the downlink is used by the attacker. Okay, now here we cannot do anything. What is the solution? The solution here, we need to have anti-DDoS solution in the ISP, in our ISP, in the next hop. Not inside our company, not in the border of our network, but in the other border of the ISP network. Here we need to have anti-DDoS solution. We need to negotiate with the ISP, and we need to take, and here we speak about transferring the risk. When you ask me, what is your solution? What is your mitigation actions? What is your mitigation plan? What is the recovery plan about DDoS or distributed DDoS attack? I say that I don't have a solution here. I'm not responsible of this risk because I transfer this risk completely to my ISP or to another company, to another third party. I transfer this risk completely to this third party. We have contract, and this third party is completely responsible on this risk. Here, I am not responsible, and I don't have any effort in order to avoid because I cannot avoid. Because I cannot avoid at my level. The avoidance and the mitigation and the reducing action can be taken within the ISP or another entity behind the ISP. Here we cannot do anything. We cannot reduce. We need to transfer the risk. Now, if we speak about SMB, small and medium business, if you are responsible, cybersecurity responsible, and you work within small or medium business, and you ask about this risk, you ask your top management to do transfer the risk, to do contracts with third party in order to transfer this risk of distributed denial of service, mainly about volumetric attacks. And for any reasons, without entering in details, for any reasons, the top management rejects this project and don't accept to transfer this risk in a third party. Now, technically speaking, it's clear that we cannot do anything at our level. Now, the top management decide to not do anything with third party. It means we don't have solution. It means we need to accept this risk. And if we get attacked, we get attacked. There's no solution. What is my role as a cybersecurity specialist, as cybersecurity responsible or manager or anything? I need to push the executives. I need to push top management to accept this project. I need to do meetings with them. I need to explain. I need to provide them necessary information. I need to do some presentation with them, and I need to present clearly the impact behind, the risk behind. If we get attacked, what is the impact on the business, on our services, provided services? I need to do all my efforts here, not technically. I need to do my efforts in this field. If, regardless my effort, they don't accept, it means that we need to accept. And they need to accept officially. If they accept, we can get attacked at any time, and there's no solution here. Because they reject, and I cannot do. From my side, I cannot do anything. From the other side, if we decide to transfer, the top management or my responsible or anything didn't accept to do this project. In this situation, we need to accept. If you ask me about risk management, what you are planning for this risk, what is your strategy for this risk, what is your mitigation plan for this risk, what is your recovery plan for this risk, I will say that I don't have anything for this risk. And I will explain you that there is no solution at my level. And in addition, there is no solution in the third party because the top management or because this or this person didn't accept. I don't know why, even if I tried with him many times. Maybe sometimes it's normal. This situation is normal sometimes in some situation, in some companies. When we speak about limitation, budget limitation, or when we speak about resource limitation, and when you explain, they told you that it's clear, we understand very well the risk behind, but we cannot. We don't have necessary budget. We don't have necessary resources, human resources, financial resources. Please, we need to postpone this project to the next year. We need to postpone this project to 3 or 4 or 6 months. For example, here we need to accept this risk for a period of time of 6 months. For example, we need to accept this risk 3 months, only 3 months. But after these 3 months, we need to either reduce or to transfer this risk. I hope that my explanation is so clear, and I hope that you understand what I mean.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so it's all about collaboration and communication regarding the threat. And
exactly.
At the end, it will be, about all the facts you just mentioned about, let's see, the budget, and okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome. You're welcome. Is there any question? Muad or Mahdi?
Oh, hello, sir. Yes.
Hello.
My question is regarding the current revolution of AI and how does it affect cybersecurity?
I already answered on this question. I say that AI can be, we can take benefit from AI strongly, and we can do great aspect in cybersecurity, in threat hunting, in threat intelligence, in intrusion detection, in vulnerability detection, in detection of zero-day attacks, detection of in analyzing, for example, behavior of users, what we call UEBA, user behavior analytics, and so on. We can take benefit strongly of AI in cybersecurity. I will do specific webinar, the third webinar. This is the first webinar. The second webinar in 2-3 days, maybe 4 days. It depends on my availability. I will complement what we need to do and what are the main risks and what can we do as IT professionals, as cybersecurity specialists, as executives, as managers. What are the requirements we need to understand? We need to ensure that everything is clear. After that, I will do a webinar specialized in AI within cybersecurity, how we can take benefit from AI in cybersecurity and how deep we can go in taking benefit from AI in cybersecurity. Okay, this is we have a special webinar on that, and I prefer to keep everything in this webinar, inshallah, in maybe next week, in the end of the next week, inshallah. Okay, any other question, Muad, or others?
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. Do you have any question?
I believe there is a question in the chat. Somebody asked it to type it. Yeah, if you check the chat. He's asking about the IT infrastructure service cloud for the company.
Yes. I see the chat. Yes. Question: in terms of security aspect, is it advisable to transfer IT infrastructure and services to the cloud for a company? So the security relies on security as services and PaaS providers like AWS, for example. It depends. Here we cannot advise. We cannot say that it's advisable, yes or no, because it depends on the company. It depends on the nature of the company. If we speak about, for example, normal company, we can do that if it has, for example, positive impact, financial impact, if it has many advantage, many benefits. But if we speak about company with confidential information, with the high level of confidentiality which is required when we speak about ministries, about many things, we cannot go for public cloud. It will be advisable to get on-premise solutions, to get on-premise IT infrastructures. It depends now. It depends on the company, on the level of required confidentiality, level of privacy, level of many things, because when we go to the cloud, it doesn't mean that we don't have problems. It doesn't mean that we are secure. It doesn't mean that everything is okay. No, because lots of attacks, lot of cyber criminals and a lot of hackers target the cloud part. And there is a lot of technologies and a lot of techniques and a lot of weaknesses and vulnerabilities in the cloud. It's the same. We are in the same environment. Maybe it's better sometimes, but we have vulnerabilities, we have weaknesses, we have flaws, we have risks, we have attacks, and we need to evaluate and to do assessment in order to be able to take a decision if it's beneficial for us and if it's authorized or if it's acceptable for us to go to, like you asked question, AWS cloud or no. But sometimes it's not advisable at all. Sometimes it's advisable, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's normal, it's medium. It depends on each company and it depends on the nature of the data within this company. Here, I take benefit from this question in order to draw your attention also not only about the cloud, because sometimes people think that when I put my service in the cloud, it's highly secure, which is not true at all. I take advantage here, I take benefit from this opportunity to speak about an example which is not normal at all, but I saw this example in many countries. Some people, unfortunately, IT professionals and sometimes security specialists and professionals, if you discuss about something, about vulnerability, about risk, about specific aspects, he says something like, I am using Linux distribution, I have iPhone, I have this technology, and I don't care about that. I don't need anti-malware solution. I don't need antivirus. I am secure by default. I have Bitdefender, for example. I have this solution. which is very far from the basics of cybersecurity. I need just to draw your attention that regardless the operating system you use, regardless the application you use, regardless, you are in the digital world, you are in the cyber world. Cyber world is full of vulnerabilities, full of weaknesses, and full of flaws. We need to take care about that. We need to do our best in order to secure ourselves. And there is no secure environment. We need to understand that no environment is secure 100%. All environment and all infrastructures and all services, all operating systems, all applications are vulnerable and are and have weaknesses, vulnerabilities, flaws, and so on. I hope that it's clear. If you have other questions, one or two questions, and we close, we complete this webinar. Is there any question, Khalid or Afrah?
Yes, hello.
Okay.
Hello, Khalid. We start with
hello,
Khalid and we after Afrah.
Okay. I want to thank you for this presentation at first. My question is about the government security. Can you give some or recommend some standards or examples of how to build policies in an organizations? Sometimes when we try to build policies without knowledge or without resources or standards, it ends up messy. Maybe we forgot some policies or that. Maybe we know that we have to do password policies. We have to do like you said, workstation policies or endpoint policies. But is there standards or recommendations that we have to follow?
There are a lot of standards here, but what you need to understand, there are a lot of standards, and you can follow any standards, and you can, but you need to understand something. What I think most important than the standard itself, which is you need to understand first, because cybersecurity is a big field. It's not a small field. It's a very big field. We need to understand that in order to get maturity level in our cybersecurity, we need to start from governance. We need to speak about. Can you put your mic in mute, please?
Sorry, sir.
We need to ensure that cybersecurity is a big field. We need to do all efforts. If we do one effort, if you try to do policies and you don't have strategy, for example, it's not, you are not working correctly. If there is no governance, cybersecurity governance, it's not correct. You are not working correctly. If you try to write policies and you don't apply, you don't have compliance, you don't ensure compliance, you don't have, you don't do any effort in security hardening, for example, it's not correct. We need to take cybersecurity as a whole. We need to do all efforts, each one in a field, each one in speciality. When we speak about standards, about compliance, or about writing policies and preparing policies, you need to understand that every company needs adequate policy depending on its requirements, depending on its needs, and depending on its nature of business and data inside, and many aspects. What we need to do, we need to adopt something and we need to adapt it, adopt and adapt. We need to adopt something and we need to adapt it regarding our requirements and regarding our need. We need to ensure, if we speak about policies, we will need to ensure that you have the required knowledge and skills about policies. What are the policies? What are the required policies? How to write a policy? What are the details inside each policy? If you take ISO standards, for example, you can find a lot of information inside. If you take other standards, you can find a lot of information, but you need to adopt something to adapt it to your environment, because if you put policies for for a governmental entity or institution, and you put policies for healthcare sector, for example, or telecommunication sector, policies for a bank, for example, it's not the same at all. We can find some similarity in titles, in summaries, but in details, when we enter deeply in details, it's completely different. This is why we need to understand that we need to adopt standards, best practice, guidelines, and we need to adapt it regarding our institution, regarding our organization. And we need to understand the business, because everything should be adapted to our business, what our company do, what is the business, what are the business goals, and many aspects. And we need to be specialized in that field. After that, we can enter into in details. Okay, Afrah.
Assalamu alaikum. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your presentation. Thank you for so much for that. So as a new thank you. So as a new PhD student in this field, I appreciate your guidance, and if it's convenient, I have a question I would like to discuss. It's about zero-day attacks. So as you said, and as I know, it's unknown attacks or vulnerabilities, and it's not included in our data. So my question is if it is possible to detect that kind of attacks using IDS, for example, and AI models, and it's impossible to do that.
Can you repeat? Can you repeat, please? The last part, only the last part of the question. Can we detect this zero-day vulnerability using what?
Intrusion detection systems.
Okay, IDS or?
Of course, using AI models.
AI models, yes. Okay, yeah. Is this question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Regarding zero-day vulnerabilities, when we speak without AI, I will speak without AI. Without AI, when we speak about zero-day vulnerabilities or zero-day attacks, or when we speak about zero-day exploit, we need to understand many aspects. But the best thing to what I need to focus on it's related to the detection. How to detect? IDS, you spoke about IDS or IPS, intrusion prevention systems. It's a device or software when we speak about endpoints, and it's a device when we speak about network. It's a device that receives traffic from one side and need to send traffic in the other side. Before sending traffic in the other side, it needs to analyze the traffic. The analyzing the traffic, it's based on two aspects. Signature-based, we have signature-based detection, and we have behavior-based detection. We have behavioral approach, and we have signature-based. When we speak about signature-based and we speak about zero-day, we don't have signature. It's sure. We don't have signature of this attack. Okay. When we don't have signature of this attack, it means we cannot detect using the signature-based system. Maybe we can detect this attack using behavior-based detection systems. And this behavior-based, it depends. Maybe sometimes it detects, maybe sometimes it cannot detect, depending on the similarity of this zero-day attack with others attack. We already know, because we speak here about IPS with behavior-based, and here we speak about learning, we speak about many things. And this is all, it's not new. We have these technologies and we have behavior detection many years ago in IPS, and we are speaking now about next generation IPS, which include a lot of advanced features inside. When we speak about AI and full integration of AI and advanced integration of AI, not only basic integration. When we speak about full integration and advanced integration of AI, we can be able to detect such vulnerabilities and such attacks, because we will have more ability to detect not only like previous generation of intrusion prevention or detection system. We can speak here about indicators of attacks, IOA. We can speak indicators of compromise, IOC. We can speak about many things, and we can AI can we can take benefit from AI here to detect unknown attacks, to detect unknown attacks which are in progress, or to detect sometimes compromising some device after attacks. And we speak here about indicator of compromise, even if we are speaking about unknown attack and unknown malware and unknown exploit and so on. How to detect these attacks? This depends on many aspects. For example, if the attacks begin with this and this request, after that we see that there is some lateral movement, for example, and after we can detect attack, even if this attack is not known. It's unknown. It's completely unknown. There are some signs of attacks, and we can detect them. But we need to understand that I'm saying we can, and when I say we can detect, it means indirectly we cannot also detect. It depends on the complexity of the attack. Is it clear?
Okay, thank you so much. Barakallahu feek.
You're welcome. Last question, please, from another person, if there is any question. No question? Muad Mariwa.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
First of all, I want to thank you for this presentation.
You're welcome.
My question is about the risk management part. You mentioned technical examples like DDoS attack, like malware. My question is, do cybersecurity engineer or do cybersecurity manager only focus on technical risks, or they also consider non-technical risks? If yes, can you provide us with an example of common non-technical risks?
Okay, can you repeat please the question? Because I didn't get the, do you need exactly?
When we do risk management, or when we
Yes.
Want to identify risks,
yes.
Do cybersecurity manager only focus on technical risks, or do they also consider non-technical risks?
What do you mean by non-technical risk? For example?
For example, natural disasters, power.
No. Here we are not cybersecurity.
Thank you.
Okay, it's not included. When we speak about cybersecurity, we speak about technical, what you call technical risks. We need to ensure technical risks because cybersecurity is related to digital field, only to digital field. Because here we have cybersecurity, we have information security, which is bigger than cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a part of information security. When we speak about risk management, or can you mute, for example, please, your mic, please? What?
Yes.
When we speak about cyber risk management, we are speaking about what you call technical risks. We are in cyber securities or cyber risk management. We need to identify all possible risks. And why we need to identify risk? Because the risk, if we speak about university, what are the main risks? And if we are in the bank, what are the main risks in the bank? If we speak about telecommunication company, what are the main risks? And if we compare, are the risks in telecommunication company the same as the risks in the bank, for example? Are they the same in the hospital, for example? Impossible. In the hospital, we are in an environment, special environment. We have some risks. If we speak about bank, we have another risks. And the priority or the criticity of the risks differ, it's changed. It's not the same. The risk of, for example, any risk X in the hospital, maybe it's high risk for the hospital. maybe the same risk in the university is low risk. The same risk, it's low impact in organization, and it has a high impact in another organization. We need to do this risk management in order to understand our environment, to understand our business, to understand what are the risks that can impact negatively our business, and to do the required action and to prepare ourselves in order to mitigate, to avoid, to reduce, and to do recovery from any of these risks. We need to be able, ready to avoid and to recover from this risk. And the risk management, you need also to understand, Mr. Muad, that the risk management is not the responsibility of cybersecurity engineer or cybersecurity analyst or new engineer in this field, but it's responsibility of what we call risk manager. And we need to have risk managers, and we need to have risk management team sometimes, and it's up to these persons, these specialists, to do risk management, because it's complex operation. It's not so easy operation. This operation can be conducted and can be performed by the risk manager with collaboration with IT teams, with cybersecurity teams, with other members of cybersecurity. They can collaborate in performing risk management. They need to collaborate in simulation of occurrence, in evaluating the impacts, for example. They need to collaborate in many aspects, but it's the responsibility of what we call risk manager. It's not the responsibility of simple persons or simple engineers. Okay.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Thank you very much for your attendance another time and helping that you take benefit from this webinar to understand something. And you are welcome to the next webinar in few days ago. I will, in few days, inshallah, I will send you the link, and I will publish. We will publish the details of this of the next event, inshallah, very soon. And see you next time, inshallah. Thank you.
Please, just really quick. Could you just share the power presentation in your LinkedIn?
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, the one for today. I appreciate. All right, thank you so much.
But you need to pay. You need to pay $1,000.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Okay,
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Welcome.